Welcome students of Form 2, Form 2A, Form 2B. Welcome to this video about global factors influencing tourism, like you can see here. And like I say always, when you have the book close to you or digitally, get it in front of you and take paragraph 5 in front of you. That is about global factors influencing tourism. So global means worldwide. So these factors come from all around the world and they influence tourism, like on our island of Curacao. There's a lot of tourism. I'm speaking now the end of 2024, but also in 2025 there will be a lot of tourism in Curacao. Those factors also play a big role on the island of Curacao. So global factors influencing tourism. And what goals, what objectives, what learning outcomes are we talking about? In this section, you will learn to outline global factors, again, factors that play a role worldwide. Outline global factors that affect the tourist industry in the region and also our region of Curaçao, Aruba, and Bonaire of the ABC Islands. So these are the learning outcomes. So if you go study this paragraph, always keep those learning outcomes in the back of your head, so you know what you have to look at. Ease of travel planning, booking and travel. Ease significa aqui não facilidade. How easy is it to book a travel, to book a flight, to book a hotel stay in the area where you want to visit? When you want to be a tourist somewhere, how easy is it to book your flight, to book your field trips, to book your hotel stay? That is one pretty important factor. And organizing a trip to the Caribbean nowadays or to Curacao is very easy, that will be facile, with all the facilities offered by the internet and the World Wide Web. So we've talked about these concepts before, these developments, the internet, the World Wide Web, and they are a part of globalization and a part of the global village. So nowadays it's even more easier than 10 years ago when this book came out. You have a smartphone, you can download an app from Corendon or TUI or KLM or whatever, and you can book a flight, you can book a stay, you book your field trips just by using your smartphone. So the facilities offered by the smartphone and apps and internet and the World Wide Web make it more and more easy to book your field trip, to book your hotel stay, and to book your flight towards the Caribbean. So travelers can purchase a range of possible destinations or accommodations, flights, or even other travel arrangements like field trips via a computer with ease. So it's become very easy to arrange for this. And this all has to do with globalization. Think papiamento nos identifica globalización. The whole world has become more interconnected. And the same meaning has el pueblo global. It means the global village. So the world has become a global village. And because of that, we see that it has become way easier to book a flight. Because of apps you see in the corner, because of the smartphone that you can use very easily, and it become easier to book a flight. And a very important reason for this is the arrival of the global village. And that's becoming even more global thanks to smartphones and apps and the improvement of those apps by travel agencies and hotel companies. The global village, a very important concept, and I put it through the translator in Papiamento and it became a pueblo global. The global village. Everything has become more interconnected because of the World Wide Web and the internet, smartphones, apps, better airplanes, faster airplanes, and because of that, the world has become more interconnected and is also closely connected to tourism. Yes? Okay. Let's go to the, so we see also when we go to Curacao that we have more and more European, Canadian, American visitors. And why? Because booking a flight has become very easy. And it's becoming more easy and easy because the amount of tourists this year is really growing. Esta cresce. A quantidade de turistas cresce hopimas. E die come because of the technological improvements keep on going. It doesn't just stick with the internet and the World Wide Web, but the smartphone, you can book your flight with a laptop, and that's why more and more tourists are also coming to Punda, Otrabanda, and the many other locations of Curacao. And this is one major influence of the global village that you also see in the ease of travel, planning, booking, and travel. Then natural disasters. This is a less a nice topic to talk about, but in the Caribbean, we have natural disasters frequently. They happen more than once in a year, and natural disasters in other parts of the world that happen in Europe, that happen in Canada, that happen in North and South America can affect travel, can influence travel to the Caribbean. So if something happens in the Netherlands, if something happens in Spain, if something happens in the United States of America, if something happens in Canada, this also affects the tourism here. It also affects the tourism in Curacao. Yeah. So what happens in Europe? What happens in the United States? What happens in Canada? What happens in Scandinavia? Yeah, it also affects us. So what happens in the rest of the world also has influence on us here in the Caribbean. So natural disasters in other parts of the world can affect travel to the Caribbean. If aircrafts are not permitted to fly from a part of the world that is a busy area of tourists, then there will be a supply area of tourists. Imagine airplanes not able to leave from Western Europe, or airplanes not allowed to leave from the United States or from Canada. Then we have a big problem because those parts of the world are a supply area of tourists to the Caribbean and a supply area of tourists to Curacao. And if they're not allowed to leave from those areas, the airplanes, because there is an eruption of a volcano and it's blowing ashes to our atmosphere, and the airplanes cannot leave from the airports, then we have a big problem because the tourists can come and they cannot spend their money. So this is a big issue if aircrafts are not permitted to fly from another area of the world, and this area is a supply area of tourists, then there will be a significant impact on tourism in the Caribbean, and the tourism will drop. If tourists are not allowed to leave from Western Europe, they cannot travel to the Caribbean and spend their money. So this is a significant impact on tourism in the Caribbean, and a Papiamento word for supply area is área de suministro. Área de suministro. Yeah, that is the area where our tourists come from. So the supply of tourists come from that area in the world. Very important concept. So keep that in the back of your mind and know at the test how to explain it. And this has a significant impact on tourism in the Caribbean if this would happen. The impact would be that less tourists would be able to come, and this will also have a huge impact on our economies of the Caribbean. Like we see here, during COVID, people from Western Europe could not leave or had more difficulties to leave in 2020, 2021. And you see here, quantidad de toeristenan tabaha. And not just a little bit, the amount of tourists dropped significantly to a really small amount. And you can get a lot of people during this time lost their jobs, And a lot of people during this time had a way less income than in 2019 and later on, 2023. So what happens in another part of the world? Think about COVID, for instance, or worldwide disease spreading. This has also a huge impact on tourism in the Caribbean because the people in the other part of the world cannot leave and spend their money in the Caribbean. So we've just experienced last year and the year before that, mainly 2021, 2020, 2022, we experienced such a moment, a kind of a natural disaster, where tourists couldn't leave their own country, and this was a supply area, and we saw a great significant impact on countries in the Caribbean. I hope this was helpful. And if you want to look at the video once more, that's always possible. You can just scroll back and remember, look at the learning outcomes. The learning outcomes are the things you have to be able to do at the end of this video and at the end of this paragraph. And in this section, you will learn to outline. So it's more than actually naming, and it's more than identifying. You have to outline it in a few phrases. The global factors that affect the tourist industry in the region. So outline the global factors that affect the tourist industry in the region. Yeah, and if you don't know what outlining is, Google it. Yeah, for instance, what is outlining? Outlining means it's more than identifying, more than just naming, slightly less than explaining and describing, but you do have to put it in 3 phrases or more. And remember, a phrase begins with a capital letter and it ends with a period. So I outline the global factors that influence the tourist industry in the region. If you have a question, you can ask that question below this video. Yeah. If you want to ring the bell, you can always also do that below this video, so you'll be notified when I make new videos. So you can do that below. You'll be notified about new videos. And the bell will be rung. If you want to ask a question, this is also something you can do below. About the topic of this video, you can also do that below. And I hope to see you during my lessons. And I wish you for now a very nice day, a very nice evening, or a very nice morning. And for now, a very well meant goodbye.